how did NBA legends play in their final games? Let's start with one of the most beloved and decorated players to ever pick up a basketball, Kobe Bean Bryant. Kobe is the closest thing to Michael Jordan that we will probably ever witness. They had a shockingly similar playstyle that became more and more evident if you watched them play side by side. Even with Kobe having an identical game to MJ, he eventually made it out of his shadow, cementing himself as arguably the second best shooting guard of all time. His mentality and work ethic were unmatched. It was the reason why he was so dominant throughout his prime years. He experienced many injuries in his career, but in the final game of his career, he put what we think is the best final game of all time. You see, the Lakers struggled during Kobe's final season, and it became apparent they weren't going to make it to the postseason. This benefited Bryant. It allowed him to basically do whatever he wanted and let the entire offense run through him for most of the year. This carried on till his last game, which was played in the previously known Staples Center against the Utah Jazz, who too were eliminated from playoff contention. This basically ensured that both sides could have a proper going-away party for the Black Mamba. Before the game, his longtime former teammate and NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal challenged him to score 50 points to cap off his career. As we know, he would surpass that 50-point mark, ending the game with 60 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, and they would win 101-96. Those 60 points would give him the record for the most points ever scored in a final game, completely demolishing John Havlicek's record of 29 points. Kobe would end his career with 18 All-Star appearances, leading the league in scoring 2 times, winning 5 rings, winning 2 Finals MVPs, making 15 appearances on the All-NBA team, an insane 12 appearances on the All-Defensive team, and winning 1 MVP. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2021. We miss you, Kobe. While Kobe was beloved in LA, Dwayne Wade had the hearts of everyone in Miami. He was so beloved that he would even have a county named after him. Despite all of us wanting otherwise, he would play his final game in Brooklyn versus the Nets. He would end this game with 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists, giving him an incredible triple-double performance. He was kind of inefficient in this game, but this was a great performance given the fact that he was 37 years old. After the game, he said, "My thoughts are all over the place. As I sit here, I think about the moment that my agent came to the table in New York in 2003 and told me the Heat were about to pick me at 5. It was a numb feeling, similar to what I'm feeling right now. To play my last game on this floor, I'm not crying on the outside right now because I'm so joyous. This is going to take some getting used to. Tuning in, watching this organization, watching my teammates play out here, and I'm not there, it's definitely going to take me a while to get used to." Wade ended his career with 13 All-Star appearances, 3 championship rings, 1 final MVP, 8 All-NBA appearances, 3 All-Defensive Team selections, and he was placed in the Hall of Fame in 2023. Dirk Nowitzki is one of the best power forwards in NBA history. He spent all 21 years as a member of the Dallas Mavericks. His final game was played on April 10, 2019 against the San Antonio Spurs. Unlike the Utah Jazz versus Kobe in his last game, the Spurs were still in playoff contention, so they literally couldn't afford to lose, even if it was Dirk's last game. The Mavericks were defeated, but he still managed to drop 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 1 assist to close out his career. This was extremely impressive for a player, let alone a 40-year-old. After the game, he received high praise from Greg Popovich. Everybody, players, fans, coaches, and staff got to witness history watching him play his last game. He played a fine game, which was great. It's not surprising. Despite playing for the other team, San Antonio still played a 1 minute and 30-second tribute video going over some of the best moments of his historic career. When asked about that moment, he would say, "I guess I didn't expect it to be that long. You know, for the first 20 or 30 seconds, I was kind of holding it in. I was like, oh, that's sweet. Then it just all came out. I'm not sure why, but like I said, I was able to hold it together for a bit. Then it just came out. Like I said, it was super special, and I'm super thankful for that. Not only did they show highlights from my career, but they showed highlights of me beating up on the Spurs, actually, which was even more incredible." Nowitzki would end his career with 12 All-NBA selections, 14 All-Star appearances, 1 MVP, and led Dallas to what many consider to be the best NBA Finals win of all time over the Miami Heat, where he was named Finals MVP. Bill Russell is the greatest winner in basketball history, maybe even in sports history. He won 11 NBA championships, I think it's safe to say that will never happen again. It's extremely difficult to win 2 or 3 championships, let alone 11. The final game of his career would come in the NBA Finals against the Los Angeles Lakers. By this time, those two teams had many run-ins with each other, making this a highly anticipated matchup. He would end his career with a 6-0 record against them in the finals, averaging 17 points and an incredible 24 rebounds per game. In the 42 games the two teams played each other, he would play his last game in the 1969 finals, with the series being tied 3-3. While the odds were stacked against the Celtics, he managed to put up 6 points, 21 rebounds, and 6 assists in the closeout game. They would win that game by only 2 points. And just like that, Mr. Russell was calling it a career after winning his 11th title. He was named to 12 All-Star teams, 11 All-NBA teams, 1 All-Defensive team, 5 MVPs, led the league in rebounding 4 times, and was inducted to the Hall of Fame twice. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Once as a player and once as a coach. Wow, now that's an incredible career to say the least. We saved the best for last. Michael Jordan is widely known as the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. As a member of the Washington Wizards, Jordan would play the final game of his career against the Philadelphia 76ers on April 16, 2003. He finished the game with a respectable 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, while shooting 40% from the field. Unfortunately, they would lose 107-87, with Allen Iverson dropping 35 points. While he was obviously no longer the dominant force he once was, the amount of respect he had among his peers around the league remained the same to the very end. With 1 minute and 44 seconds left in the game, Philadelphia guard Eric Snow fouled Jordan so he could have a chance to end his career with 2 free throws. Even though the game was in Philadelphia and their fans not being known for showing any respect for opposing teams, they would give Jordan a standing ovation from the crowd after converting both free throws. After the game, Jordan said, "The Philly people did a great job. They gave me the biggest inspiration in a sense, obviously. They wanted to see me make a couple of baskets and then come off. That was very, very respectful, and I had a good time. Now I guess it hits me that I'm not going to be in a uniform anymore, and that's not a terrible feeling. It's something that I've come to grips with, and this time, this is my final retirement." MJ would retire as one of the most accomplished stars in NBA history. He won the 1984 Rookie of the Year, was 4-time All-Star, led the NBA in scoring 10 times, led the NBA in steals 3 times, won 6 NBA championships, won 6 Finals MVPs, made 11 All-NBA appearances, 9 All-Defensive Team appearances, 5 MVP awards, won the Defensive Player of the Year award, and he was a first-ballot Hall of Famer, being inducted in 2009.